I guess there's three main things I would say I miss. I miss the people. I miss the food. And the third one, the places slash the beauty of the country. So the people, I miss tons. I miss teaching English. I miss my English students. I miss my friends. I miss my Romanian family, my Romanian grandma, my Romanian mom, who actually came to visit and is in the U.S. And I didn't quite realize how much I missed her and her daughters until I went out with them last night to go explore where I'm from, where I live right now. And I was like, wow, I miss you. Like, I miss them so much. And as they talked about Romania, it made me miss the different places I had visited, the different cities, and the different unique things that they offered. The mountains, like here in Utah we have mountains, but they do not compare at all to the Transylvanian mountains of Romania. Oh my gosh, like when I think mountains, I think Romania. And sometimes people will say, oh, these mountains in Utah are beautiful. I'm like, yeah, they're nice, but they're not Romanian mountains. Oh, just so beautiful. The architecture, the way the buildings are organized and the way people interact together in those buildings as if they were a family in many ways. I miss that. The food, oh my gosh, I can go on about the food, but the fruit is so good. I've never had fresh fruit taste as good as it did in Romania. The stands on the streets, the different drinks they would have there, and the homemade ice cream I had in Romania. Oh, you haven't eaten ice cream or gelato until you had it in Western Romania. That was bomb. Their love for music. I feel like in the US and in Canada, there's people that love pop and there's people that love rock. There's people that love classical and country. Whereas in Romania, there was tons of different music varieties. But because they were Romanian, it kind of united people together. And so I would hear tons of music from popular artists and people that weren't super popular, but everyone seemed to love it, despite it being very different. Although pop is a very, very normal thing over there, at least among the young people, to enjoy. And so I'd see people down the street and they'd play music and people would just join in together. And that was really interesting to me because here you don't really see that. Their love for family really stuck out. Is they love their families like none other that I know of. They bend over backwards and are always there for their family. It was really inspiring because in many ways I want to have a family like Romanians have families. They're very tight-knit, especially I guess the newer generation is very close with their grandparents. And I can sympathize with that a lot because my parents divorced when I was young and I grew up being raised by like my grandparents. And so that was really cool to me. Seeing that because it's not normal here in the U.S., but it's more normal in Romania, and so that was really cool. Architecture, Eastern European architecture, wasn't something I was used to, and it was really cool just to go and see like the different styles of architecture. Like I started in a city called Iași, and there's this place called Palace, which translates in English to palace. And it's a beautiful, ornate, large building. Sadly, when I was there, it was always under construction. So I didn't get to see too much of it, but I did get to see different parts of the outside. My last Sunday, I was attending church in Romania, and there's this one lady. She is this old lady, but she felt to me like a grandmother to me in Romania. And every Sunday when I go to church, I would sit by her. I love to sit by her. She'd tell me stories. She lived in the city of Oradea, but she had a farm. She also had a family, but she also had a farm outside of the city where she would go throughout the week and farm. And she'd always tell me stories of this would happen, and she'd sometimes bring us stuff. But I remember that last Sunday I was in Romania, she brought me a tie. So what? It's a tie. But it was just very sentimental because it wasn't a brand new tie. It was her husband's last tie that she had owned of him. And remember she told me, she's like, you've become like my grandson. I want to give you something that represents my husband, something that means so much to me. And she gave me this tie. And to this day, I still have this tie, and I wear it on very special occasions, on the most special occasions. For instance, I graduate in April, and that's the tie that I will wear to my graduation, because it means the most to me. Yeah, that just meant so much to me.